Hi Stampers, my name is Lisa. I'm with Queen Bee Creations. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to share with you how to create this adorable little card. It has a little peekaboo front to it. I'm using all Stampin' Up! Products today, and they can all be found in my online store, and in my YouTube video I will link all the products. Let me bring you down to my workspace here and I'll show you what we're doing. Like I said, it's the little peekaboo honeybee bundle. Now, the honeybee was something that I worked on before and it was super popular and it kind of sold out rather quickly. I am happy to report it is now back in stock. So if you didn't get your chance to grab the honeybee bundle before it sold out, it's now back in stock. That's super exciting. I also want to share that there were some others. If you've been following my blog or following my newsletter, there's some others that are back in stock too. Two of my favorites were the Peaceful Moments and the Painted Poppies dies. These make some beautiful cards. So if you don't have these yet, you want to snag those up. I've done several examples on how to do numerous things. The painted labels and the peaceful moments work together in coordination, and so the two bundles make up a suite when we include a few accessories in the designer series paper, and it's got some beautiful stuff. So again, make sure you check that out, as well as the honeybee bundle that we're working with today. I've got today's card here we're going to make, but I've also done a Facebook Live on how to do the shaker card. And here I have a thank you card. And then here's another one just using one of the dies. Now, of course, I always stamp the insides to match. So, like I said, two of my favorite bundles. Today's card is going to use a sheet of basic black that is 4 1/4 by 5. I have a sheet of crushed curry that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Then I have a piece of cardstock that is 3 3/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Then I took a 3-inch scallop circle and a smaller circle, and these were out of our Layering Ovals dies. Now this one I used on the card base. I just cut a circle out of the front, ran this through my die cutting machine, and then I came back with the same one I just did that with and the scallop circle. I placed the two of them one on top of each other and then ran this through the die cutting machine, and that's what got me my little ring. Now make sure you save the little pieces that popped out of the middle, because you can use those as scrap, you can use them as a circle on another card. Lots and lots of uses, but that's what we're going to need for today's card. And you'll notice this has kind of a reverse step effect. As I put this together, you'll see. We'll use some liquid glue today. Now I'm not going to go all the way to the top with my liquid glue, because this piece is actually a little taller than the one we're going to set it on. So I'm kind of holding it at an angle as I match up the bottoms, and then I'll close it up. But I'm going to kind of make sure I'm kind of even down there. Oops. And then flatten it out. So see what I mean? There's like a 1/4 inch that it steps up right here. And that's on purpose. And I'm going to do the same thing with our next layer. And this is just something that's a little bit different. And I just thought it was a cool idea. Of course, you know, this is something I saw on Pinterest. It's a fold we've all done a lot before. And I just thought, oh, well, okay, they used it with the retirement set that I featured last week, and they had the little retired couple in the middle, and I think some palm trees on the outside. I can't remember what they did exactly, but it was different colors, a different stamp set, and I just took the idea of the layout, and that's how I came up with today's card. So it's not really as complicated as some people think it is to come up with some great ideas. You just have to look at something and say, gee, how can I put my own twist on that? So this one, again, I'm making sure I'm using liquid glue because I want to be able to move it around, because this center circle in the black is the same exact circle that I cut out the middle with. And so I can line this up to make sure that it fits exactly around that middle. Now I used a little flower on the front. Now this is one of the stamps that comes out of our honeybee stamp set. And it's the flower down here. There's two of them in case you wanted one to go this way. And if you'll notice, if I tried to go this way, the flower would be upside down. And so what they do is they have this one, and then they have a flower that curves this direction, so you could have the two. Here we go. So you could easily make, you know, two across the bottom, or maybe two on the bottom, two on the top, but you could go all the way around with the flowers. I chose to just do the one side, and I wanted it in two different colors. So that's when I brought out my Stampin' Write markers. I'm going to use the green to go ahead and ink up this part. What have you guys been doing with all your quarantine time? Are you getting lots of stamping done? And are they actually getting in the mail? I've done quite a bit of stamping, and I have a stack that I need to go get postage for. I want to make sure that I not only stamp the cards, but I also get them off in the mail, because I've gotten a few phone calls from people that I have sent cards to, and they were just so surprised that I sent something in the mail, because these friends were non-stampers. I just knew they were home in quarantine and might need a little pick-me-up. And they were just like so impressed. You made this yourself and you thought of me? That's just so wonderful. So you guys too could pull out your stamps, ink, and paper and spread some joy to others in your life as well. You might be surprised what kind of good responses you get back. So there's our little flower. And then I'm going to put the bee up in the corner, and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that in Memento black ink. And then I want my inside to show through, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little pencil, and I'm just going to kind of mark very tiny little marks on where my center is, so that I can open this up and know that I want my center image to be within those parameters. So you can see they're really tiny, because I want to be able to erase them off as soon as we're done. But that's where I'm going to put my focal point, so it will be able to be seen from the inside and the outside. And there we go. There's our honeybee hive. And then I'm going to take our little words. Then I'm going to add a few more bees. Now again, I'm making these fairly random because bees do fly around very random. I see on this card I only had 2, this one I'm putting 3. But I mean, you get the idea. We're just putting a few little bees in there and they're floating around. And the ink was black, which was great. But now I want to give them a little bit of color, because we all know that honeybees have the little yellow middle. And so I'm just going to come in again with the brush end of my marker. And I'm going to color this in. Now, so you'll notice as I color this one in, you can barely see that it goes through to the color underneath. Now, this is crushed curry ink and a crushed curry marker, and you can see by looking at where I've stamped and where I've colored how those match exactly. That's one of my favorite things from Stampin' Up, is that the ink, the marker, the cardstock, they're all exactly the same shade. So it makes it very easy for me when I'm trying to coordinate things. It's very easy. The designer series paper as well will tell us which ones match. So everything's very color coordinated. I also love our Whisper White the best because it has the smoothest texture I've been able to find. Which gives a good image for a good crisp impression with our stamps. I have one extra little bee here, and I'm going to pop him up and have him come through the middle of the circle. This is Wink of Stella, and what this is just a little brush, and it says here push. Now you don't want to push too much, because what it's going to do is going to push the glitter ink that's kind of up here down into the front, and it's a clear ink with little specks of glitter that is very light, and I thought it worked well to give the wings of our honeybee the little shine that they have. It's a little bit of sparkle, but not nearly as intense if we had used dazzling diamonds. Now when you first get your Wink of Stella, you're going to need to pull it apart. It does unscrew. And when you very first get it, there's going to be a cap that covers this, and you're going to need to pull that cap out and then place this back on and then squeeze it a little bit. It'll take some priming, we call it, to, you know, make sure there's enough glitter down into the tip, and then it will work perfectly for you. So don't get frustrated if you pull it out and think it should work right away and it's not quite working. That's just making sure that they keep it dry so that when you go to use it, it still has all of its use left. There's my pencil. So now I can safely erase my little pencil marks. And then I have a stamp that I had made for the back. This has my logo on it and the copyright symbol for Stampin' Up, because if you're going to sell your cards at all, it's required. It's part of our what they call an angel policy. It's required that you put images copyright Stampin' Up on the back of all of your cards. Now we have a couple of stamp sets that have that included in there. Like here's a little tiny one inside Make a Difference. See how it says right here, at Stampin' Up or copyright Stampin' Up. They just ask that that be included on all cards that you put out there for sale. So I'm going to use a craft ink for this because otherwise regular ink won't show up on the black. But there we go. There's today's finished card. So again, you can see what I was talking about how it kind of steps up gently. And I did this to where this top piece is the one that's 5.5. Then we have 5 1/4 and 5. So this is still going to fit in our standard A2 envelope so that you can mail it off. And I have limited it to 1 Stampin' Dimensional so it can be mailed under 1 stamp. Let's see, I have some scrap paper over here. Let's go ahead and put our little thank you at the bottom. Now this stamp looks like it's getting a little bit dry. It's probably time to re-ink it. How I would do that is I would take our coordinating ink refill bottle, and all you would need to do is put a few little drops on there, and then you're going to rub it with the back of a spoon. And what this does is pushes the ink around so that it's evenly distributed. So this will push it down into the ink pad and make sure that it's evenly distributed all around. Then when we go to close the pad, our pads store upside down. So if you notice, as I closed this, the ink pad, the ink is going to settle on the top of the pad instead of the bottom. This same ink can be used to re-ink our markers as well. You would just take a pair of tweezers and pull that tip out and put 1 or 2 drops down in the middle. Then you would take and roll it and then store it overnight, laying horizontal like this, so that the ink again distributes to both ends. And of course you can water with our ink refills. There's lots of great uses. So this is again the crushed curry ink. I've got a 1 3/8 inch punch. And then I had our thank you and a 1 inch punch. Okay, now I went ahead and I punched out of the middle, and you could throw this away, or you could save this, and then if you have another use, grab something. So if you had a smaller oval that was yellow, you could have this white edge around the outside, and because the top circle will cover up the bottom one, they won't even notice that that part's missing. So that's a good way to take advantage of using all of your cardstock, is when you're punching things out, you want to make sure, like, you know, before I layered this white on top of the yellow, I could have used that yellow to punch out other pieces because nobody's going to see the holes underneath. So if you want to make your supplies go a little further, that might be something to consider. And I have my glue stored in just a little container that I made. If you want to know how to make one of these so you can store your glue so that it's, you know, the glue puddles at the top so that it's nice and useful when you pick it up, that is on my blog. There is a tutorial on how to do this, and there's also a tutorial on how to do this other one that holds all of our adhesives. Mine's a little bit worn because I take it to classes with me, but it holds, you know, everything you need. And there's a video and everything on how to put that one together. Here's our card. We're all finished. Again, like I said, all of these supplies are from the Stampin' Up! Catalogs. We have our annual catalog, and then we have our mini catalog. Both of these are going to be good through the end of May. And then in June, we're going to get a new catalog. So if you have placed an order with me within the last year, you're already on my mailing list. I've already got it scheduled to be delivered to your home, and you will get the new annual catalog that's going to be coming out. I appreciate your business, that you buying from me allows me to do a job that I absolutely love, and it also allows me to make these videos for you and keep you interested. If anybody places an order of $30 or more, make sure that you use the monthly hostess code, because I always have a customer appreciation PDF for each month, and so you will get full instructions on how to make 6 different cards in the PDF tutorial. They're all out of one stamp set. Also, if you're new to stamping or like things to be prepared in advance for you, I do have the option of ordering things as a pre-cut package. So this was the Daisy Lane class, and there were 3 cards. The third one's somewhere here in my office, I swear. But if you wanted to learn how to make these cards, you can join the online class. You can pay for just the class, or you can pay for the materials that come pre-cut with the class, or you can order the bundle and get the class for free. So you might want to check that out. As we're all quarantined inside, now is a great time to pull out some stamps and make some cards and send them off to friends. So again, I thank you for joining me, and I will see you back here next Monday at 2:30 for another Facebook Live. Thanks for joining me. Bye.